So once again, there are a bunch of hints on a big restoration of Azeroth happening in the very near future. This has been sort of a weak topic with a bunch of hints going around, but right now we got a lot of new information that once again just adds to the hint batch of this could be happening soon. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't 100% confirmed official information that we will get a cataclysm-like restoration and that a brand new Azeroth is happening as soon as 10.1, but we got some new developer interviews talking about how the Dragonflight will end, what will happen to Gilneas, the Night Elves. We got some cinematics that also give us some really interesting information. So what is all this new stuff that was thrown our way, and are we going to get a big restoration of Azeroth anytime soon? If you guys want a full-on AAA quality game right in your pocket, check out Raid Shadow of Legends, this video sponsor that you can download for both your PC and mobile with my QR code or the links below. One of my favorite factions are the Elves, ancient civilization that survived orc rampages and the collapse of the Lizard Man Empire. A faction of them got corrupted by Azeroth, turned into Dark Elves, and after a civil war, these Dark Elves were exiled, and even though this turmoil happened, they still managed to recover and created one of the richest and most powerful kingdoms in Teleria. Now, this month is huge for Raid. They just released a brand new faction, the Silver Watchers, with new champions, forest elves, ants, druids, and fays. Best of all, there is a full lineup of events, a new season of the Forge Pass, and if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get exclusive rewards right now. So it's never been a better time to start. All new players use my QR code on the screen or the links below, and you will get a $30 starter pack, a free champion arena, and also all this cool in-game loot. Rewards will be here for the next 30 days only, and see you in-game. So, this topic of Azeroth getting a revamp has been up for debate within the Warcraft community for years at this point, and rightfully so, because seriously, quite a large portion of the world is not only stuck graphic-wise in like 2005, but story-wise, a large portion of Azeroth is actually stuck in time. We are left with situations like Gnomeregan, for example, that has been in a state of retaking for like a decade, and really, in that time they could have blown apart Gnomeregan and just created a new one from scratch while getting rid of the old one. Then we have Stromgarde with nothing happening. We have this imminent restoration of Gilneas that should happen anytime soon. Even more importantly, Darnassus is still gone, and this Night Elven restoration is up in the air as well. We have Dalaran stuck in time, just floating for no reason. We have the Blackland stuck in time, and really, there's no point in even listing all this stuff, as I can make like a top 50 list of things stuck in time on Azeroth right now. The point is, in the case of revamp, there is a lot of work, and it is really needed in a lot of places on Azeroth. Now, legitimately, there was actually a really big initiative when Dragonflight was announced that we thought there was some serious hints where we just expected a major revamp of Azeroth as soon as Dragonflight. Blizzard essentially confirmed a 3-year time skip, which is really huge for World of Warcraft, because keep in mind, the official Blizzard timeline, major events such as the Legion invasion or the Lich King campaign take the course of like 1 year, so 3 years time is really just a crazy amount of time in the Warcraft universe, so naturally you would expect a lot of changes. Unfortunately, Blizzard shot us down with this, as they pretty much confirmed, saying a few things changed, some younger characters are going to get older, obviously, as it is time for people to Azeroth to get some rest, but we shouldn't expect anything major. And that really was it for the time, but right now, as Dragonflight is coming out in literally a week, Blizzard is doing double time on the interviews, we got the official cinematic, and once again, there are some hints for a revamp happening. Now, I'm not saying a full-on cataclysm, let's get a brand new Azeroth type revamp, but some cities, zones, and areas could potentially get an update as soon as Dragonflight or the Dragonflight ending. So, without further ado, let's actually get into the new information. As you'll know, the red shirt guy from BlizzCon, well, he did an interview with the lead quest and the lead lore guy, and they talked a bit more about the Titans corrupting the waters and a few other Titan lore hints, which I'll talk about in a different video. But at the end of the interview, he asked them the question that the community has been wondering for quite some time. Will the Night Elves and the Gilneans ever get a quest to return to their home like the Forsaken got in 9.2? And they responded, there is always hope. Now, I know Blizzard is known to give vague hints and also kind of hints that lead actually to nowhere. For example, the Old God Whispers, the 5 lanterns that we essentially bunch up with every 5 random objects every single expansion, and this prophecy never actually ends up happening. However, in regards to this Gilneas and Night Elven stuff, this actually leads somewhere, because Steve the User literally wrote a blue post where he had elaborated on the time skip, and he said that nothing crazy will happen in the time skip, and big things like the restoration of Gilneas, they would like to turn into a quest line so that we can experience it like the cleansing of Undercity that we recently did as soon as 9.2.5. Of course, it wasn't confirmed that it would happen ASAP, but obviously they're planning to do something, and there's just so many hints about this. Now, they pretty much doubled down on this, and they also added the Night Elves to the patch as well. This really combines super well with the other hints because something is obviously going to happen here. We don't really know much when exactly, but something will 100% happen with this. I mean, Horde pretty much got Undercity back, yet Darnassus is still missing. The Night Elves are still refugees despite essentially being the winners of the recent war, and the Alliance right now are missing 2 capital cities, both Darnassus and Gilneas, plus the Gnomes if you want to count that as well, because, you know, they don't have Gnome Recon, so there is definitely quite a disbalance between the factions. There are even in-game hints for this happening, with Kaliamante confirming that she plans to withdraw Forsaken Truths. That is already old news, and that this will take some time, but we got a time skip, and that gave her some time. Then we had that seed from Alderville that was obviously infused with the Night Elven souls. We still at this point don't know what this is, but in my opinion, as this was made from the souls of the burned victims of Darnassus, I really doubt this is going to be a weapon. I mean, I gotta say, I am a tad bit, maybe like 10% worried that this could be used as a weapon raid to one-shot Yoxron in like 3 patches from now, but I really most likely think this is literally a seed, and it is almost certainly going to be either a foundation of a new world tree that will be the start of a new Night Elven city, or this will be foundation of a new Night Elven city without a tree, but it will probably have something to do with rebuilding. Furthermore, and obviously some spoilers ahead, but Blizzard also gave us a bit more new information on the Malfurion and Ysera timeline. This is already old news, but they plan to uncover more when the expansion is out, but essentially, they expanded a tad bit. They said Ysera will return when it is time, and Malfurion is sacrificing himself because in order for Ysera to come back, someone has to take her place, and Malfurion decided to do that willingly. Since the Night Elves are going crazy expansion after expansion with the sacrifices, I mean, someone eventually has to pay them back. Now, that leads us into the second big hint, or the second big hints. So, as you're almost certainly aware, Blizzard just released a ton of new cinematics, a bunch of in-game ones, and the official launch one. Now, the in-game ones pretty much kind of revealed to us that the dragon aspects are looking to get their powers back, which means that they're no longer going to be the ancient, obsolete protectors of Azeroth that serve as advisors and just these ever-wise beings, but actually powerhouses that are the drivers of change and that can do a lot of stuff personally. In the official cinematic, there was this really interesting part that might have slipped past you because it was only a few seconds, and that is when we got to see Alexstrasza and just how crazy, insanely powerful she is. Alexstrasza, essentially, in a single red fire breath, planted a gigantic super lush forest that was actually huge, or what seemed to be a complete desert in literally like a matter of seconds. Immediately, as soon as I watched this, to me this was a confirmation that this is going to have something to do with the Night Elves and this entire restoration storyline. Now, some people would say this might be retconning the lore, as since when are the dragons planting trees with fire? We can see them cleanse areas, but not just completely plant forests, and personally, I don't think this is actually a retcon. I mean, Alexstrasza is literally the aspect of life, the creator of life. If you remember at the Redgate, when she cleansed the Blight with fire, she essentially turned Bolvar into an undead or this sort of weird thing in between, and there was literally trees that were planted in the remnants of her fire breath. Now, at the time, this city was not a Mount Hyjal type forest. It's not like Northern was suddenly just a massive forest. It was more like a few trees were there, and she didn't exactly revive Bolvar, but turned him into this weird thing. So I can see where people are coming with this retcon stuff. However, in my opinion, I think this is just a case of expanding the lore, so like she was known to be able to do this, but let's just make it like 10 times more powerful, as now they are strong again and we are on the Dragon Isles that is like the center of their civilization. Now that leads us into a possible restoration. Maybe Alexstrasza has been empowered by the life energy of Azeroth, as there is an obvious hint of the awakening, which is why the Dragon Isles returned in the first place. Furthermore, there was yet another hint from a Blizzard interview. They essentially kind of revealed how they plan to end this expansion, and this is pretty much what they said. The expansion should end on a strong note. Hopefully, we have helped our allies out, achieved some things, and made the Dragon Isles a better place. Obviously, pretty weak hint. I think this is as weak as it gets, but I think we can extrapolate a few interesting things from this. First is that obviously, as Blizzard talked about, since they're already working on the next expansion, there probably won't be a crazy universe-ending boss on the Dragon Isles. This won't be like the conclusion of a storyline, but it will most likely be a setup for what is to come. So the entire storyline will more than likely play out on the Dragon Isles, where the dragon aspects restore themselves, we sort out all the issues, and our expedition is like crucial in doing all this stuff. For this reason, they obviously have to pay us back in some way, you know, all the people that helped them. When you examine it kinda a bit further in a bit more detail, you kinda realize that it was their mistake why Darnassus was burned in the first place, as they were the protectors of Azeroth, yet a guy from the Shadowlands caused a lot of damage to it. Seeing that all the dragons are super connected to the Night Elves, we could totally see Alexstrasza doing that magic fire breath thing and just restoring a large portion of the destroyed Night Elven territory. Furthermore, with the older information we have data mined, a bunch of brand new models from human buildings to a lot of Blood Elven bits and pieces. When you see just how good these look compared to the really outdated cities and what we got before, such as Silvermoon, I think these could be kinda small glimpses of what could be possible in the near future. In my opinion, I don't expect a full-on just brand new Azeroth, but I could totally see Gilneas becoming a new Night Elven city, or Teldra still being restored and us getting a new Darnassus pretty much as soon as the Dragonflight ending. Now, while a bit less realistic, cities like Stromgarde could be restored, or eventually Silvermoon, the Plaguelands, and really that entire area of the northern eastern kingdoms, as at this current point in time, this really is just a critical area in terms of story development. Thank you for watching. Check out the next possible customization or allied race to Frostborn by clicking on the screen, and check out the Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.